guys, it's Will. It's Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, welcome and thank you for finding us. I hope you are doing well. If you are not subscribed, then you could subscribe. That would be hugely appreciated. Today is my first day recording content in 3 months. And with a channel like this, you might imagine, given all of the Hong Kong stuff that's coming out right now, in 3 months, I would have acquired a lot of releases. And if you were imagining that, your imagination would be 100% accurate. I have an ass load of movies that I have not shown off on the channel yet. I think I have about 45-ish movies over here in the pile that you can't see that's on the desk right here. And so I'm just going to be going through and showing those all off to you. Some of these are Patreon purchases. Actually, I'm looking at it now. At least I have there's a box set here and there's some double features, triple features and stuff like that. But at least 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 or 6 of the releases over here, which would be 20-ish movies, I think, were purchased with Patreon money. So I will point those out to you. I've actually been trying to save some Patreon money over the past couple months, and a huge shout out to our patrons because they are amazing, amazing people. I haven't recorded in 3 months, like I said, and not a single one of them was like, hey, where's the content? Everyone was really supportive. Everyone was really, encouraging, and lots of comments and private messages. And there are people saying it's totally fine. Do what you need to do. We'll still be here. It's an amazing community of people, and we really don't deserve it. And so huge shout out to them. But, there's just a lot of stuff that I really need to show off to you. So I'm trying to think of where to start. This is a good pile to start with. It's getting to the point where I think I'm going to have to start doing, I have so much. There's a 4K release in here too, actually. I don't do a lot of 4K releases, but there's a 4K release in here. So wait for that. That'll be kind of towards the end. I don't do, I have so many releases right now and so many movies that, I might have to just there's 3 movies in here where I know I want to watch those ASAP. And with the rest of them, I might just hop on Patreon and put up a poll and just let people decide what order I'm going to review stuff in. This is one stack of the movies that I will be showing off to you today here. So you can see that there is a huge, huge number of films here. And actually 2 or 3 of these are releases I've already reviewed, but I didn't show off the physical release in the review. I went back and I was like, wait, what? So let's just get into it. So first I have Queen's Ransom. Hell yes, this is a Eureka release. I am so excited for this release because it stars both Jimmy Wang Yu. If you watch the channel, you know I've been really into Wang Yu recently, one-arm boxer and Chinese boxer. I was just because those were put out by 88 Films, put out Chinese boxer, and then one-arm boxer was put out, I believe, by Eureka in the UK and by Arrow in the US, and those are all fantastic releases. That is an awesome movie. And those are awesome movies. Excuse me, there's 2 of them. Chinese Boxer especially is that's in my top 3 Shaw Brothers films now. That movie really blew me away. Wang Yu's, the way that he integrates a lot of influence from Japanese cinema, and he's such a great filmmaker. His characters are so interesting, just the way that he builds scenes and tension and violence, and it's just so good. And then I saw Beach of the War Gods a couple years ago, which was just freaking amazing, and I loved it. And there was a Eureka release of that. So I'm a diehard Wang Yu fan now. I'm also a diehard James Bond fan, and have been since I was a kid. And George freaking Lazenby is in this movie, who played James Bond, obviously, in one film. And so perhaps even God can't save the Queen in Golden Harvest's A Queen's Ransom, also known as International Assassin, an explosive action thriller starring George Lazenby, Angela Mao, hell yes, who's, she was in When Taekwondo Strikes and Hapkido and Lady Whirlwind. Angela Mao is freaking incredible. And legendary Jimmy Wang Yu. As Queen Elizabeth II arrives in Hong Kong for a state visit, a band of skilled mercenaries plan her assassination. Contracted by the Irish Republican Army, hell yeah, tapping into some current events. The international group of hired killers includes Japanese explosives expert, a Thai boxer who's played by Bolo Young, and a Filipino sniper, as well as a National Liberation Front of the South Vietnamese Army, who is played by Wang Yu. So I'm probably going to watch this ASAP because it not only sounds amazing and right up my alley in terms of movies that I love, it also has amazing movie stars in it. So I really can't wait for that release. Eureka, and this is the Region A version. So this was one of Eureka's releases in the United States / Canada, I guess. The other movie that I'm really, really excited about in this pile that I'm going to watch ASAP, that I'm actually opening right now, because I don't have enough time to open every single sealed release here. We'll be here until the end of time. But this one, I'm actually really curious to see like the inside of it. That's what she said. Chameleon Films has released Motorway, which is a Soi Chang film. So Soi Chang directed Killzone 2, SPL2. I know it's like heretical to say this. I like Killzone 2 more than I like Killzone. Part of that is I am a huge Tony Jaa fan. I will take Tony Jaa over Donnie Yen, right? If you're looking at like who's the main character in the film, who's the main attraction. Now, Sammo Hung is in the first one, which is a huge attraction, right? Because Sammo Hung is absolutely incredible. But I kind of think the story of the second one is better. I like the plot more. I think it's more interesting as a movie. They're both fantastic and classic films, and they're very different from one another. And so it's like apples and oranges, but I really, really love that movie. This guy also directed a movie called Limbo, which I have not seen, but everyone tells me is incredible and is really highly regarded. So I have not seen this movie, but it's like a driving movie, like a car chasing, like racing type of film. It's a Milky Way. It's a Johnny Toe's production company movie. And I'm just, everything I hear about it makes it sound incredible. And I'm really interested in seeing more of this director's movies. And so I'm really, really excited about this release. And so I'll probably watch Queen's Ransom first in terms of the things I have in my pile here. There's a little bit of a booklet here. But this is a movie I'm going to watch, kind of as soon as I can. And I also I loved... Chameleon is a country that's out of Australia, and they put out, last year this is an interview with the screenwriter, and I think the people who did the music for this movie are French. It's kind of like an international type, like it is a Hong Kong film, and it was made in Hong Kong by a Hong Kong filmmaker, but I think it's got like, original story by Joey O'Brien, right? Screenplay by Joey O'Brien, and then the music is by, who did the music? Javier Jamau, which sounds like a French name to me. So I'm just really excited to check this film out. And I loved the Chameleons release. I would be remiss not to mention this, of Election 1 and 2. They did a double feature release of that, which was freaking fantastic. And so the format I did for reviewing that release was different from the format I usually do. I went on Zoom with Hong Kong and Beyond with Shaz and Leon, and we talked about the first film on my channel, I think, and then the second film on their channel, or vice versa. And we did an episode on each channel, or on each film. It was really, really fun. But they also did Breaking News, which is a great release, and Exiled, which is a great release, and I love that movie. So very excited about Motorway. And moving along in my giant pile of movies, we have The Inspector Wears Skirts 2. I loved the first one. Like, it's in my top 4 on IMDb. Right? Why do I keep saying IMDb? On Letterboxd, excuse me, right now. I just did another video where I said the same thing. It's in my top 4 on IMDb, on Letterboxd. I loved the first one. I know not everyone loves it. They're like, oh, the action scenes are good, but there's like so much character stuff, so much comedy. That's what I love about it. Because the action is fun, but when you have great character stuff and when you have good comedy that draws you into the film and makes you love the characters in the world, then the action stuff has meaningful stakes because you care about those people and you don't want anything bad to happen to them, and you worry that something bad will happen to them, and then you get this vacillation between hope and fear. You hope they will be okay, you fear they will not be, and that creates tremendous dramatic tension. So I thought the first one was a great freaking movie, and I'm really, really excited to check out the second one. So this will probably be like the third one I watch in this giant pile of stuff I have right here. And this is an A and a B, region A and B release. So you can check this out in either place. This is a region B release, by the way, Motorway. So I will be breaking out my region free player for that one, or my multi-region player, whatever you want to call it. So now, this is a release that has been burning a hole in my face, my pocket. I don't know, what do you say about a Blu-ray? I like burning a hole in my face. That's an amazing expression. This has been burning a hole in my face for a couple months now. This is the Swordsman of all swordsmen. This is a Joseph Coe film, and what is particularly spectacular about this release is that it comes with a bonus disc, which has an even more famous movie as a bonus, which is The Mystery of Chess Boxing, which I've never seen. So I'm insanely excited about this release, and I've been dying to watch it, but I don't know if if you watch this channel or if you follow me on social media, I had the flu for literally like a month, and a bunch of other stuff was happening in my life that's not worth going into right now, but it comes in the poster. Suffice it to say, that's pretty awesome. I haven't had an opportunity to watch either of these films yet, but I've been really, really, really wanting to because I've never seen either one of them, and I loved the movies in the Eureka Joseph Coe set, and so I am very, very excited to check this bad boy out. And now another release that I'm really tremendously excited about that might be the fourth or fifth thing that I check out from this massive pile of releases. China O'Brien. Hell yeah. So there's a 4K of this, and there is the standard Blu-ray. This is the Eureka Entertainment, release. Vinegar Syndrome is also, if they haven't put it out yet, they are putting it out. So it's a double feature release that has both of the films, and these are, early 90s. Are they both from 1990? Yeah, action films with Cynthia Rothrock, and I just love those like late 80s, early 90s kind of mid to low budget, grindhousey, rock'em sock'em, ass-kicking action films. And so I'm really excited about this, and the plot of this film sounds really fun and goofy and very much of that era. So hopefully you will be seeing a review of that one coming up on the channel very soon. So here's two releases of movies I already reviewed. We have Kung Fu Cult Master, which stars Jet Li and is a Wong Jing film, and Sammo Hung is also in this, and Ching Ma Yao and Charlotte Chung. And so you can go and check out my full review on the channel, but for some reason I didn't show off the release in the review. I just kind of showed off like the press sheet that I had, but I didn't go into, I didn't show off like the whole, what happens when you pop out all the artwork and, you get like the reversible cover there, and you get a booklet, and this is a very insane movie that is like 100 minutes long, right? And it's got like, I think it's got like 4 novels worth of material in it. So it's like I don't know how, it's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon on cocaine. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to describe it. It's just like, it's like a psychotic, coke-addled wuxia film that's trying to cram like thousands of pages worth of material into 100 minutes of a movie, and it's very fun if you like those types of things. And then When Taekwondo Strikes, I absolutely loved this movie. I did a really extensive review of it. I really see the Bruce Lee influence on this film, and that it's like a real-world situation about people who are being oppressed by like an imperial power who has a lot of military might, and the ways that they try to resist and fight back and maintain dignity in their own culture and things like that. I thought this was a great film, and this is the Eureka Entertainment release. Hell yeah. Love that. Sorry, I dropped the slipcase, and it collided with the tripod, and that's why the camera is shaking. But that's the inside of that. I'm sorry the dogs are barking. They probably want me to go out and throw the tennis ball for them, but I'm recording right now, so that'll happen when it happens. Okay, so that was the first pile. Let's grab another pile. Man on the Brink. So I just recorded a review of this. It should be up on the channel soon. This is a Canary release, which is a Vinegar Syndrome partner label of a 1981 undercover cop film. I loved this movie. You will see my review of it. It'll have clips in it and everything like that, but it is a great movie and a great release. If you're a fan of like City on Fire, if you're a fan of Infernal Affairs, if you're just kind of generally speaking Ringo Lam type of films, Hard Boiled, which is a great undercover cop movie, movies like Tiger Cage, Heroic Bloodshed, like this movie is phenomenal, and it's from 1981, so it's a very, very early example of these types of films. It's a great crime movie and really well made. If you loved Long Arm of the Law, I think you'll really like this movie. Another thing that I think another film that it has elements in common with in terms of tone, story, the way it blends drama and genre is the story of Wu Viet, which is an An Hui film, which is a really incredible movie that I highly recommend that I have talked about on the channel before. So this is not a Hong Kong film, but the Bounty Hunter trilogy. This is freaking amazing. I recorded a little mini review of this set that should be coming out pretty soon. These are Japanese samurai films, and this is Tomisaburo Wakayama, who played Shogun Assassin, Lone Wolf and Cub, and he is the brother of the guy who plays Zatoichi, Shintaro Katsu. And the first film in this set is a very like kind of 60s Zatoichi James Bond type of film. It's like a spoofy adventure espionage type of film with really good characters that's like outrageously fun and entertaining. The second one, which is called The Fort of Death, is kind of like a spaghetti western type of movie. They have like different flavors. It's really cool. And then the third one is called Eight Men to Kill, which I haven't watched yet, but this is from Radiance Films. And it is worth pointing out, this is out in both Region A and Region B. The US version, they don't have any left in stock. So whatever is with retailers right now, whatever you can get on like Diabolic or, you know, whatever, Grindhouse, Orbit, eBay, wherever you buy movies from at the store, that's what's left. There's none left in stock. So once those are gone, it'll be sold out. This is a limited edition, and I highly recommend getting this if you like Zatoichi or Bond or spaghetti westerns or like those 60s and 70s like violent grindhousey kind of tongue-in-cheek type of films. I freaking loved that set. Now, this is not only not a Hong Kong film, it's not even remotely related to any of the other things I've discussed at all. It's an American movie from 1927. It is a silent American film. I'm going to be doing a brief overview of this film on my other channel, which is just my name, Will Gish, where I do like lists of movies I like, and I talk about, you know, I have an MFA, which is a Master of Fine Arts in Screenwriting, and I was a reader for a while for Lionsgate and other studios and production companies. Like, I would read scripts and give them notes and stuff like that. And I'm actually working on a screenplay right now. I was hired to work on a screenplay. That's one of the reasons it's been so long since I've been doing content. I've been doing a freelance gig, working professionally on a screenplay for a movie that I think is actually going to get made. I have full confidence that it will be made. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. When I have more details about it, I will bring them to you. But I was talking about screenwriting. I don't remember why. Okay, anyway, The Cat and the Canary. Oh, my other channel, because I do analyses of screen structure and screenplay, like tricks and techniques and, you know, like character arc and the way that like the act structure of movies is set up and stuff like that. So on my other channel, I do videos about that. So you can go check that out if you want. And I will be reviewing this on my other channel. So this is a silent film from 1927 that is kind of a comedy, kind of like a spooky, gothic, old school silent horror film, and a really good mystery. It's like laugh out loud funny. It's really intriguing and engrossing as a mystery, and it has this really amazing like gothic like universal horror movie type of ambiance. So I loved this movie, and so I just wanted to show that off, even though it's kind of not related to anything else we have here. Let's do some more Hong Kong stuff, and then I have some Taiwanese and Japanese and Korean films. There's just so much. I'm looking around, I'm like, there's so many damn movies, I don't even know which direction to go in next. So these next 5 releases, including the 4K one is in this pile, were sent by one of our patrons to me, there's like amazing releases in here. And this is like really, like, it always astounds me when people, I mean, like, I make friends with a lot of people online, and I love talking to people in the comments. I love the messages in the comments section in Patreon. Our Facebook group has been going crazy recently. I've met a lot of really cool people in there, but like, these are people that for the most part I've never met before, and they think to send me movies, and they take time out of their day to go to the post office, and they write me notes, and they put together films they think I'm going to like. And it's really kind of incredible and humbling and amazing, and gives you faith in humanity in very dark times. And so a shout out to our patrons, and especially the Patreon who sent me these films. And the reason that he sent me these films is that I really had only seen, I think, like 2 Stephen Chow films before this most recent round of releases started coming out. And I love the Stephen Chow stuff I've been seeing. Like, From Beijing with Love, I was laughing so hard during that movie. It cracked me up so hard. And then what's the one where he goes undercover in the palace because he gets conscripted into this cult accidentally, and it's like a period piece film? Oh my god, I'm not remembering the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a Wong Jing movie, and that movie just cracked me up and I thought it was amazing. So he sent me a bunch of Stephen Chow movies because he's a big Stephen Chow fan and thought I would really like these films. So we have A Chinese Odyssey with Stephen Chow, and he even included a lot of context for this film, which was really amazing. And I'm really, really excited to check this out. So this is part 1 and part 2. As you can see here. We also have King of Comedy. And I love this DVD. I love the Hong Kong DVDs. There we go. And we have, what else should we see? So this one, I was really, really humbled and impressed and surprised that he threw this release in here. So this is Love on Delivery. I've heard so much about this movie. I've never seen it. People tell me it's incredible and hysterical, and I need to see it immediately. This is the Nova release. Well, I don't know if Nova has multiple releases of this film, because they tend to like release a bunch of different versions. This is a Nova release, and Nova's a company out of South Korea, I believe in. I think I may have maybe one Nova release. I don't know if I have. If I have any of their films, I have like one or two releases. And I always look at their stuff on their website and be like, man, that's so cool. But it's like expensive to import, and they do really limited editions, and you have to get on there like right away in order to get them. So this is like really incredible, that this release. And I'm really excited to check this film out. So then we also have a sealed copy of the 88 Films release of Forbidden City Cop, which I really wanted to see. And when this release came out, I really wanted to pick it up. And there was so much coming out at that time that I just didn't get around to it. And I was pretty bummed about it. And now I'm really, really excited that I can check this movie out. Forbidden City Cop. And then we also have Hero Beyond the Boundary of Time, which stars Tony Leung. And this is a Tai Seng release. Look at the little gold sticker there. And I don't really know anything about this movie, so I'm really, really excited to check this one out. Now, I was mentioning Soy Chang, and I was mentioning Motorway, and I was talking about how much I love Killzone 2, and I was talking about a movie that's really well regarded by people that he directed that is relatively recent, that is called Limbo. And lo and behold, the 4K Blu-ray combo release of Limbo, on top of all that other shit that he sent. Like, come on, dude. Like, just one of these releases would have been too much, and I got all of them. And dude, I don't know. I've heard it's like so from what I've heard, this is like a film noir type of movie. It's in black and white, and it's apparently like really gritty and intense. And this is it includes a 24-page booklet. So it's like a book, like a media book type of release, where it actually opens, and like the release itself is the book, and then the Blu-ray and the 4K are in there. So I'm really, really excited to check this out. I've heard there's a rape scene in here that I might find disturbing, because as you know, if you watch this channel, I find rape scenes disturbing, and I sometimes have a hard time with it, but I can also just fast forward and look away from the screen, because I love like dark thrillers. That's like one of my favorite, I don't know if you would call it a genre, but like one of my favorite types of films. It's just like I love Denis Villeneuve, or obviously I don't speak French. I always struggle with his last name, but like Prisoners, Sicario, those movies are incredible. Blade Runner 2049, I think, is a very dark thriller. I think the original Blade Runner is a very dark thriller, and I love that movie. I love the Godfather films, which I think are both like pretty dark thrillers. And so I mean, I love Fincher, right? Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and Zodiac. Those are Seven. Those are very dark, like gruesome, grimy thrillers. And I like a lot of like the Korean, like I love Park Chan-wook, and he makes such great, like nasty, dark thrillers. And so I'm really, really, really excited to check out Limbo. We have a pile of movies here, and we have a box set. Let's do the box set first, because it is all Hong Kong, and the other ones are kind of split. Taiwan. There is a Hong Kong film in here, but there's also like Taiwan, Japan, Korea. So let me get the Hong Kong stuff out of the way in case you want to watch that and then move on with your day. So yeah, it's freaking Shot Scope Volume 1. So if you know the story behind this, I had Shot Scope Volume 1 and Volume 2. And I did full videos like showing them all off, talking about the movies in them. I even reviewed the King Boxer, which is one of my top 3 favorite Shaw films. It is worth noting. That disc from this release I have reviewed on the channel before. And the story is that a friend of mine sent those both to me, and then he had to sell his. I sent him the ones that he had sent me, because I felt bad. He's a huge Shaw Brothers fan, probably more so than I am, and I thought that's a bummer that he found himself in a place where he had to sell those, because I know how much he loves those movies. So I sent him the ones that he had sent me. So now I have Volume 1 back again. Hell yeah. So the story behind this is, I think it was Diabolic DVD, you know, the place where one buys one's favorite films if one is so inclined. They posted something that they had damaged inventory and they were selling them at this hugely discounted rate. I think it was like 60 something bucks. And as far as I can tell, the damage is there's like a nick right here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a little bit of a dent in the outer casing right there. That seems to be the only damage. And I got this at like an absolutely massive discount. So it was 110% worth it. And I was super excited. I also meant to say, I was talking about Patreon earlier and how I've been trying to save Patreon money recently. The reason for that is there's some box sets that I'm like really seriously considering grabbing. The Shout Factory T Long David Chang Chong Che set I like really want to get. So I'm trying to save and see if I can. But, you know, 88 Films just announced that they're putting out Legacy of Rage and Bodyguard from Beijing. And like I'm absolutely going to have to pick those up. So I'm making tough decisions every day with the Patreon money. But there are some box sets that I really want to grab. So here's the booklet. If you've seen this before, you know. Then, like I said, I'm not going to go into like forensic detail on this because I already did a pretty extensive video on this. But, yep, there we go. And it opens. That's what she said. And when you open it up, it's so juicy on the inside. And what a big, yummy box for daddy. So, King Boxer, like I said, one of my absolute favorite short films. Boxer from Shantung, I actually did watch this. And I just never got around to reviewing it. I honestly don't even know why, but it's basically like Hong Kong Scarface. It's like Shaw Brothers Scarface. Shaolin Temple and Five Shaolin Masters. Five Shaolin Masters is the first ever Shaw Brothers film I saw, so that has a very special place in my heart. The Mighty Peking Man. Hell yeah. The artwork is so fun on these. Challenge of the Masters and Executioners from Executioners from Shaolin is one I really need to watch again. Is that the one that's like the same movie kind of as Clan of the White Lotus, where Clan of the White Lotus is like sort of a sequel, sort of a remake? Because if it is, that movie fucks, and I loved it. And then Challenge of the Masters, I'm not actually sure I've seen. That's Lau Kar Lung, and is that right? Is that a Lau Kar Lung film? That is certainly Lau Kar Lung right there, is it not? With Gordon Liu. So, and then we have Chinatown Kid, which I believe is like the restored extended version, which is super exciting. And yep, restored and extended. 5 Venoms and Crippled Avengers. So this is like one of the greatest double features of all time. I might try to find a night where I can actually watch both of those movies back to back, because that would be amazing. Heroes of the East, which is a movie I love, which Yasuaki Kurata is in, along with Gordon Liu and various others. And then weirdly enough, there's a documentary on here about your mom called Dirty Ho. So there's that. And then we have all the bonus material and the music from some of the films on here. So I'm hella excited about this. I'm excited to have it back. There's, I think, 12 movies on here. And there's like 12 or 14 on the Shaw Classics Volume 4 set, which I got relatively recently, within the last various set of months. Time no longer has any meaning to me. I read this really great book called, I think it's called The Nature of Time by Carlo Rovelli, who's an Italian physicist. And it talks about how time is essentially like a human construct. The way that we understand time is this continuous thing that is always moving in one direction. And so you start to understand like intellectually that time is not real. But also within the past year or so of my life, I've started to understand experientially that our concept of time is not real. And so I'm just trying to let go of the notion of time having any value or meaning in a real sense. So then we have another Hong Kong film, Black Mask. Why did I save this for the end? This movie fucks so hard. It's so classic. I don't know why this is all the way at the end of the video. I mean, it's not the end. But I don't know. You save something good for, right before you bust, I guess, right? So this is like you're getting into the rhythm of things, and then I like whisper in your ear, "Oh, bust on me, daddy." And then it like brings you to a massive, juicy conclusion. What are we even talking about at this point? I am losing my mind. This is what happens when you don't record for so long. When you finally do get around to recording, all the filthy thoughts that have been percolating in your mind for all of that time come jizzing out onto the canvas. So obviously this film is just classic, and what else do I need to say about it? I mean, it's Jet Li whooping people's ass as like a superhero. This is a movie I haven't seen since like maybe like the early 2000s. I think it's been like 20 years. A lot of Jet Li movies I haven't seen in like 20-ish years, because I watched a lot of his movies. Like after Crouching Tiger or Hidden Dragon came out, I suddenly found all of these Jet Li movies in like my local video stores because people were like, oh, martial arts is big right now. Who's a martial artist? Oh, Jet Li. Here's a shitload of Jet Li movies that you can rent. So like Once Upon a Time in China 1 and 2, and this one, and like the one Kiss of the Dragon. What is that movie called? And like a lot of those movies I was watching like 2001 to up until like 2006, 7 or so, and a lot of them I haven't seen since then. So I'm really excited to revisit this, and we'll see when I end up reviewing that, because like I said, there's so much to discuss here. I've got so many movies. So this next film I'm really, really intrigued by. It's called She, I think that's how you say it, The Beauty of Beauties. This is a historical epic from Taiwan. It came out in the 1960s, 1965. It's 2.5 hours long. And I know very little about this film, but I've heard it's like this incredible, beautiful, massive historical drama with all this amazing stuff in it that's really kind of like a seminal film in the Taiwanese film industry. Again, I really don't know that much about it. 88 Films put this out. The Taiwan Film Audiovisual Institute is included on the back here. I know they do like film restorations, so I wonder if this is their restoration of this film. But I mean, I've been getting really into Tsai Ming Lang recently. Obviously, I love Rebels in the Neon God, and I've loved that movie for like a decade. I think it was about 10 years ago that I first saw it, and I talk about that movie a lot on the channel, but I recently watched Goodbye Dragon Inn. My review is up on YouTube if you want to check that out, but that movie blew me away, like really blew me away, and after I watched that, I went and bought a couple more of his films, Viva El Amor and Stray Dogs, so I'll hopefully be watching those soon, but those films and like some other stuff, like the Joseph Koh set that came out a couple years ago, like I've been more and more interested in Taiwanese cinema and like exploring it more and understanding it better, and also East Asian Cinema History, which is like one of the absolute best channels on YouTube. He's done some incredible videos about Taiwanese cinema that have really intrigued me and made me want to see more and understand more, so I'm really excited about this film. Now we have a film that is this a Japanese movie? So this is from Neon Eagle Video, who put out Kill Butterfly Kill, and they are putting out, oh god, why am I not remembering the name of it? The Godfried Ho movie with the freaking Garfield telephone. That's like one of the most famous cut and paste ninja movies ever. How am I not remembering the name of this movie off the top of my head? Is it Ninja Terminator? It's Ninja Terminator, right? Yeah. I don't know why I just totally blanked on that. So this is another film, but I think it's a Japanese film. Yeah, it's a pinky violence movie. Zero Woman, Red Handcuffs. Let me show you the cover. This was sent to me by someone who was like, you might like this movie because you like Japanese films and stuff. When renegade cop Rie, played by Toei starlet Miki Sugimoto, who's in Girl Boss, escaped from reform school. You can't make this shit up. You really can't make this shit up. Girl Boss escape from reform school. Yastari goes too far in bringing justice to untouchable bigwigs. Only a dangerous mission to rescue a politician's daughter will keep her out of jail for good. She readily takes on the task, only to find it more complicated and deadly than she suspected. After a relentless pursuit and run-ins with despicable... I hope she doesn't get raped. No judgment. I don't know what happens in this movie. No judgment. It might just be fun and risque. Zero Woman, Red Handcuffs is a prime example of pinky violence series of exploitation films that were made by Toei Studios in the early to mid-1970s. Though a short-lived genre, several true cult classics were made, of which Zero Woman, Red Handcuffs is one of the best and most influential. Based on an infamous adult manga series, that doesn't bode well for the desire for no brutal raping, because we know how they like that in the manga series. This is tongue-in-cheek too, by the way. I'm not judging manga, and I'm not judging pinky violence films or anything like that. If you like those are your things. I love manga. I've been reading a lot of manga recently. I just got the second volume of Spriggan. So, Netflix put out this their own Spriggan series like 2 years ago or so, and that compelled me to want to read the Spriggan manga because I know it's like considered a classic. And I love like cyberpunk, and I love like fantasy, witchcraft type of stuff, and like there's a lot of kind of elements of that in Spriggan. And the good thing about Netflix doing the series is that the entire run of the Japanese manga was then released in like 4 massive volumes in English. So I read the first one last year and I fucking loved it. So I just got the second one for my birthday this year. Shout out to my brother who sent me that for my birthday. Super excited to read it. So, this film is a delirious riot of action, sleaze, and outrageous style directed by genre master Yukio Noda, who did Gogol 13, Assignment Kowloon. And this is from Neon Eagle Video. It's the worldwide Blu-ray debut from a 4K restoration. So, there you go. There's an audio commentary by Sam Deegan. Sex and Violence, Pinky Violence, Tokyo Scope author Patrick Macias on Zero Woman Red Handcuffs. And so there you go. That's out, and you should check it out if that is your thing. Then we have more Eureka, Ken Takakura's Prison Walls 1 through 3. So this is a trilogy, I think, that's all in one release. Constructed in the late 19th century to house political prisoners, Japan's infamous Abashiri prison served as the inspiration for a popular and prolific run of Yakuza movies released between 1965 and 1972. The first 3 in this series, which is considered a landmark franchise, directed by the king of cult, Teruo Ishii, and starring the titan of Japanese genre cinema, Ken Takakura, who's in The Bullet Train, which Eureka also released, and a buttload of other stuff. And this is the Masters of Cinema series. So, I mean, I love Japanese movies, and I'm always up for checking out stuff like this. So I'm excited about this release, and I hope that you are too. We have Yakuza Wolf 1 and 2. This came out a while ago. I did watch the first Yakuza Wolf film. I did a review of it on Letterboxd, and you can check that out on there. It wasn't my cup of tea, and I don't mean that in like, I'm not trying to disparage people who like that film or discourage you from watching it. It's a very scuzzy, grimy movie. It kind of reminded me of like a spaghetti western revenge type of film. It's a Yakuza film that takes place, and Sonny Chiba is in it, right? So that's obvious immediately appeal, right? And it was released in 1972, it looks like. And it has kind of like a lot of like raping and like sexual violence in it and like degrading of women. And it's a really like gritty, grimy film, right? And it's looking at a world that is depraved and brutal and nasty. And I know that the worlds like this really exist, right? And so if you can stomach these type of things, maybe you will like this movie. If you like category 3 movies and stuff like that. I'm talking about the first one again. There were a couple scenes in this movie that were genuinely fantastic. Like if I'm remembering correctly, there's like a chase scene on the streets of the city in this movie where all these people come spilling out of a building and they're all like chasing each other around. That was really interesting. The camera work in this movie is also really interesting. A lot of it is like really tight on the character and like super widescreen, and it creates this weird sense of disorientation because it's like very kind of Japanese new wave. Like it's almost like anti-cinematic. Whereas instead of having like these big kind of landscapes where you see everything around the character and like the location is part of the movie and stuff like that, it's very clipped and disorienting and like super close and wide, and it gives you like this weird sense of space. And in like scenes of violence and chasing, you can't even really tell like who's where, and like it's pretty, like, if it's formally very interesting, but it really wasn't my cup of tea, like I said. But I've heard Yakuza Wolf 2 is actually really, really good, and several people have encouraged me to check that film out, so maybe I will. And we are down to our last release. We're almost 40 minutes into this video. It's a big one. That's what she said. Are you ready for the climax? Let's bust all over your face. We have Bodyguard Kiba 1 and 2, another release. Eureka's just going fucking crazy right now. They're just going crazy. They just took their big old hog out and they slapped it all over my face, and I just love it. I'm just going like, give me more, daddy. Anyway, this is a double feature, a double bill of Japanese martial arts mayhem starring action superstar Sonny Chiba, based upon the manga by celebrated writer Iki Kajiwara. Bodyguard Kiba follows the eponymous karate master and professional bodyguard as he is hired to protect the mysterious Reiko, a woman embroiled in the world of organized crime. So it sounds like Yakuza drama, karate ass whooping. And it's rated 15 for strong violence, bloody images, injury detail. It's an interesting rating reason. Injury detail. I just watched for the second time Only God Forgives. There's a lot of injury detail in that movie. I bet that's like an 18. Nudity, sexualized nudity. Sexualized nudity, that's interesting. So like there's a shot of someone pooping, and that's That's regular nudity. But if they're pooping on someone, it's sexualized nudity. Sexualized violence, pass, and drug use. Oh, drug misuse. That's interesting. So if you use drugs as directed, so like if I were to take a Tylenol in a movie, no problem. It's rated 12 or G or what is like the youngest one on the British system. But if I put the Tylenol in my nose, you get a 15, you naughty daddy. So my name is Will. You are watching Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. That is my massive load after keeping it all stored up for 3 months. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.